Today we're here at St. Michael's Mount. We're gonna tell you a story about giants and how a giant built that mountain.
A long, long time ago, there was a giant named
Cormorant!
Cormoran was a huge giant. And he lived in the ancient land of Cornwall. And the giant lived in a cave on an island. Together with his wife Cornelia, and together they built the island out of rock. One day Cornelia bought some green rocks. The giant wasn't too happy about the color of the rock, and then he kicked her.
That's no good.
And she dropped the rocks on the beach, creating the famous Chapel Rock, and a lot of trouble for himself.
And here's Chapel Rock today, which is used by tourists to go to the island on boats, like this one. That's not the only way to get to the island. The other way is on this old path across the sea. That's the Cornish flag. Right now it's still high tide. Whilst we wait for the tide to go out, let's have another story about giants.
Cormoran versus Trencron.
One day, Cormoran and his friend decided to have a hammer throwing competition. Cormoran would throw his huge hammer, and Trencron would catch it and throw it back. Back and forth they threw the hammer all day, until Trencron threw the hammer and it slipped and flew out of his hand
Oh no.
through the air and hit Cornelia on the head, killing her instantly,
You're a stupid man! A stupid, stupid man!
which made Cormoran very sad. And together they buried her on Chapel Rock.
Now the tide has finally gone out, we can go across to the island. The causeway is very famous and has been on TV and movies. Here it is in Game of Thrones. On the island there is a small village with shops and cafes and all other stuff, including the boats that they used to pass by in high tide. Look at all that seaweed! It smells like crabs are in there. We're going up to this castle now. It's a super long walk, but we'll make it. On the way up to the castle, we found the giant's well. I wonder what's inside.
After the death of his wife, with no one to control him anymore, Cormoran started to cause real trouble. He terrorized the local villages, scaring the villagers, and stole the livestock to eat. Everyone was terrified. And the village council had a meeting to discuss what to do about him.
And after the giant's well, we found the giant's heart. Oh, there! Oh, there! And legend has it, the giant's ghost still haunts the island. Now we finally made it to the top. Pooh! Pooh! Hold on a minute. These cannons have actually been used before. There's the castle! Inside the castle, there's lots of cool things to see, including this big clock, this Arabian flag, and a crossbow for hunting rabbits, this old cannon, and a clock that shows you the tide. And this is the St. Orban family crest. And the 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's the king. And this room's called the Chevy Chase.
Good evening. I'm Chevy Chase.
Do you see that jug on the wall? That used to belong to a real giant. It's amazing. You should definitely come here. At the end of the tour, you finish on top of the castle. We're on the roof now. And the views are amazing. And that's the way we came from. Inside this church, they found a real giant. But first, let's get back to the story.
The village council decided to do something. After the meeting, the council leader offered a huge reward. They needed a hero. Somebody to stop the giant.
Marty, I'm scared.
Instead, they got Jack. Jack wasn't very tall or very strong, but he was very smart, and he had an awesome pickaxe. All of the villagers doubted him, but at the end they all agreed.
I agree.
So Jack set off to kill the giant.
So, just how big are real giants? Well, if the average person is 5'6" and the average NBA player is 6'6", and here's Cormoran at 18 feet. He's a big boy. Well, the real Cornish giants like Anthony Payne were over 7 feet tall. That is this big. And inside this church, they found a really big skeleton of a giant too. It's a secret passage.
Yeah, well, you see, this arch here leads down into a little secret chamber. There's some steps going down there, and there's a little room down there. Only we didn't know it was there until about 200 years ago. Some builders were doing some building work, and they were chipping away at the walls, and they thought, oh, there's something here. So they kept on chipping away, and then they found that door, and this arch there. So they went down and had a look inside with a little candle, I expect, so they could see inside. And there was a 7-foot skeleton in there with a big leather jug that was hanging in the Chevy Chase that you were looking for on your quest.
So maybe real giants built St. Michael's Mount after all.
Jack traveled to the coast, then swam across to the island. And waited until nightfall. At nightfall, when the giant fell asleep and was snoring loudly, Jack started to dig a hole with his pickaxe. A big hole, giant-sized. When he was finished, he waited till morning. Jack was ready to do this.
Then he blew his horn. And then the giant chased him.
Quick! Get out! Get out of here!
The giant didn't notice the big hole in the ground, and he fell inside the hole, up to his neck.
The giant fell in the well.
The giant was stuck in the hole. Now was Jack's turn, and he swung his pickaxe. And struck the giant on top of its head, instantly killing him. Jack was hailed as a hero by the villagers. But was he really? Was he a hero, or did he kill an innocent giant, grieving over his dead wife? Comment below and let us know what you think. And don't forget to check out our other videos about castles in the south of England.